There's a moment, a single breath, where you feel it deep inside. You should say no, but you don't. Your gut clenches, your mind screams no, but your mouth, it betrays you. You hesitate, just long enough for doubt to creep in. The weight of expectation presses down, and before you even realize it, you smile, you nod, and you say the words you know you'll regret. Sure, I can do that, narrator. And just like that, you've traded your time for someone else's priorities. Your energy for obligations that aren't yours to carry. Your freedom for a moment of avoiding conflict. And this isn't the first time, is it? How many times have you sacrificed your peace just to keep them happy? But here's what they never told you. Saying no isn't selfish, it's powerful. And the moment you learn how to do it right is the moment you take back control of your life. This is the Stoic art of saying no, and today you're going to master it. Saying no isn't just about avoiding commitments. It's about protecting something far more valuable, your power. And no one understood this better than Marcus Aurelius. As a Roman emperor, he was constantly pulled in every direction, senators demanding policies, generals requesting resources, citizens seeking favors. If he had said yes to everything, he wouldn't have been a ruler. He would have been a servant to everyone else's needs. And here's the thing, you might not be ruling an empire, but in your own life, the same principle applies. If you don't set your own boundaries, someone else will set them for you. Think about it. How many times have you let other people decide how you spend your time, your energy, your focus? The reality is simple. Every time you say yes, when you don't mean it, you give someone else control over your life. And what happens when you constantly say yes? You lose respect from others and worse, from yourself. But here's the good news. Learning to say no isn't about pushing people away. It's about drawing the right people closer, the ones who respect you, the ones who value your time, the ones who understand that a strong no means a stronger yes to what truly matters. But knowing that saying no is important isn't enough. The real question is, why is it still so damn hard? Why do we hesitate even when we know we should refuse? The answer lies in how you think, and that's where Stoicism changes everything. Principle 1. Stoic thinking. Focus only on what you control. One of the most powerful lessons in Stoicism is this: you don't control what others think, you only control how you respond. Yet most people live in fear of saying no, not because they want to say yes, but because they're afraid of how others will react. Think about it. How many times have you agreed to something just to avoid conflict, just to keep someone happy, just to dodge that awkward moment of rejection? You tell yourself it's easier this way, that saying no would make you seem rude, selfish, or difficult. But let's be honest, are you really protecting them, or are you just avoiding your own discomfort? The truth is, you can't control how someone feels about your no, but you can control whether or not you betray yourself by saying yes when you don't mean it. So the next time you're about to agree to something out of fear, stop. Ask yourself, am I doing this because I genuinely want to, or because I'm afraid of rejection? Try this. Write down every time you said yes this past week when you really wanted to say no. Look at that list. Did any of those moments actually serve you? Or did they just drain your time and energy? Now that you understand why this happens, let's go deeper. How do you actually say no in a way that commands respect? The answer is in how great leaders do it. Principle 2. The art of refusal. Saying no like a leader. The world's most powerful leaders aren't the ones who say yes to everything. They're the ones who know exactly when to say no. Steve Jobs once said, "Focusing is not about saying yes, it's about saying no to 100 other things." That's why Apple became one of the most successful companies in history. Jobs wasn't afraid to shut down distractions. He didn't let unnecessary commitments dilute his vision, and neither should you. Even Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, warned about this. If you don't set boundaries, others will set them for you. So how do you say no like a leader without losing respect? Step 1. Listen without reacting. Most people panic when they're asked for something. They scramble for an excuse. They over-explain. Instead, just pause. Listen. Let the request sit for a moment before you respond. Step 2. Say no clearly and confidently. You don't need an elaborate explanation. A simple, firm response is enough. "I appreciate you asking, but I won't be able to commit to that." Step 3. Offer an alternative, if necessary. If the situation allows, suggest another solution. "I can't do that, but I can help in this way instead." This shows strength, not submission. The key is to be firm, but not apologetic. Leaders don't beg for permission to protect their time. They own their decisions. Now let's take this even further. How does mastering the word no actually put you in control of your life? Let's break it down. Principle 3. Saying no means taking control of your life. Now you know how to say no like a leader, but here's the real question. What happens if you don't? Picture this. You're at work, swamped with deadlines. A co-worker swings by. "Hey, can you help me with this real quick?" You don't want to, you don't have time, but you say sure anyway. Fast forward, your own work suffers, you're staying late, and they leave on time. Sound familiar? Let's be clear. If you're always saying yes, you're not in control of your life. You're living on other people's terms. You get taken advantage of. People start expecting you to be available all the time. They stop respecting your time. And worst of all, they begin to see you as someone who doesn't value their own priorities. You lose focus on what actually matters. You say yes to a last-minute favor, and now your own projects suffer. You agree to unnecessary meetings, and suddenly your goals are put on hold. You give away your time freely, and now you have none left for yourself. You become overwhelmed and burned out. Ever felt like you have too much on your plate, but no idea how you got there? That's the cost of saying yes when you should have said no. But here's the good news. This isn't about becoming selfish. It's about becoming intentional. How to regain control. 1. Master the power of silence. Most people feel pressured to respond immediately. Instead, try this. When someone asks for your time, pause, breathe, let the silence work for you, then respond with intention, not obligation. 2. Set non-negotiable boundaries. Decide right now, what are the things you will never compromise on? Your personal time, your focus hours, your mental peace. Once you define them, protect them ruthlessly. But here's the challenge: setting boundaries isn't enough. If you don't enforce them, they mean nothing. So how do you make sure people actually respect your no? Principle 4. How to make people respect your boundaries. Most people assume that just saying no is enough, but here's the biggest mistake. They talk about boundaries, but they don't back them up with action. You've seen it before. Someone says, "I can't stay late at work," but then they do. They say, "I won't respond after hours," but they still check their emails. They claim, "I don't lend money to friends," but when the pressure comes, they cave. If you don't respect your own boundaries, why should anyone else? The 4C formula for enforcing boundaries. 1. Clear. Make your boundaries direct and unambiguous. Instead of saying, "I'll try to make it," say, "I won't be available for that." 2. Calm. No need for long explanations or excuses. Saying no is not an argument, it's a decision, and strong decisions don't need validation. 3. Consistent. Stick to your boundaries, no matter what. The second you make exceptions, people will push harder next time. Hold your ground. 4. Confident. Deliver your no with certainty. Look them in the eye, keep your tone steady. People respect certainty more than hesitation. Because the moment you start respecting your own time, the world will follow. Now let's take this one step further. How do you maintain these boundaries effortlessly, without guilt and without losing important relationships? That's where true mastery begins. Principle 5. Think like a king. Stop explaining yourself. By now, you've learned the power of saying no. You've seen how great leaders, from Stoic philosophers to modern visionaries, master this skill. But there's one final step that separates the strong from the weak. It's the mindset of a king. Marcus Aurelius ruled one of the greatest empires in history. Every day, people begged for his time, his approval, his decisions. But do you think he explained himself every time he said no? Because real power doesn't beg for validation. The king's mentality: say no without apology. Most people over-explain. They say no and then rush to justify it, fearing judgment, rejection, or conflict. But here's what they don't realize. The more you explain, the weaker your no becomes. "I'm really sorry, but I can't do it because I have something else going on, and I feel bad saying no, but maybe next time." What does that sound like? Uncertainty, self-doubt, permission-seeking. Now, listen to the difference. "I'm really sorry, but I can't because I have something else going on and I feel bad, but maybe next time," versus "I won't be able to commit to that." One sounds like an apology, the other sounds like a decision. Because a king doesn't ask for permission to protect his time, he owns his decisions. Action step: the 24-hour challenge. Now here's your challenge. In the next 24 hours, say no to at least one request that you don't want to do. It could be small. Maybe someone asks for a favor. Maybe they want you to go somewhere you don't feel like going. Instead of making excuses, just say, "I won't be able to do that." Then stop talking. Feel the power of standing your ground. Watch how people respect you more when you stop over-explaining. Because at the end of the day, the strongest no is the one that needs no justification. So, let's take a step back and look at what we've learned today. First, we broke free from the illusion that saying no is selfish. It's not. It's control. Then we learned the mindset of Stoic leaders, focusing only on what we can control and rejecting everything else. We uncovered the truth that great leaders, like Marcus Aurelius, Steve Jobs, and Seneca, never let others dictate their time. They set boundaries with confidence, clarity, and without apology. And finally, we realized that saying no isn't about shutting people out. It's about respecting ourselves enough to protect what matters most. Because if you don't control your life, someone else will. Every weak yes is a silent surrender, but every strong no is a step toward freedom. So here's your challenge. Apply this today. Don't wait. The next time someone asks you for something you don't want to do, pause, breathe, and then say no with confidence, with clarity, without apology. This isn't just theory, it's action. So here's your challenge. Apply what you've learned today. Say no at least once in the next 24 hours. And if you want to master the next level, where you can control any social interaction anywhere, watch my next video right now. Because the moment you learn to say no is the moment you take back your power.